Hey everybody, Courtney here with a full body yoga practice. We're going to sit tall, starting in Sukhasana. Feel free to grab any sort of throne to help you create a nice open lower back, open hips, knees living a little lower than the actual hip bones. And just rock and sway your way into some easy Sufi grinds. Inhaling forward, we'll arch. Exhaling gently back and round. Taking a few one way. And a few the other. You can always slow things down or speed them up. Feeling into what works for you. And then fingertips to the floor, switch the crossing. And rock, sway your way into a few of those Sufi circles each direction. Maybe starting the way you normally don't. Breathing in and breathing out. Reversing once, maybe twice. Take another 30 seconds or so just exploring. Confronting, releasing anything not serving you. This idea of breathing it out, shedding layers over time. As we rock back to neutral, do consider licking your lips, swallowing, maybe fluttering them out, horse-style breath. One more if it's helpful, soft face, soft jaw, big inhale. Pushing forward toward all fours or swing your legs around. Brighten fingers, arching and rounding. Inhale, chest forward, soft elbows, open heart. Exhale, root and rise, scoop the belly, stretching into that mid-upper back region. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more like that. Then bring it all back to neutral. Climb high onto your fingertips, spinning your hands around toward the knees. Couple of breaths to get there. Couple more to reconsider, maybe taking just one hand at a time. Or right into a few cat-cows. Inhaling, chest moves forward. Shoulders, trapezius muscles do melt back. Exhaling, keep that space, rooting and rebounding, reversing the curve. Always wiggle and sway your way through the movements. Or looking for a little more stillness at both the top, the bottom. When in doubt, adding breath, slowing things down in a way that makes sense for your body, your joints. And as mentioned, even speeding them up in a way that feels good for your body, your joints. Easing back to neutral. Let's again spin the fingertips around. Now sitting back on our heels, you're going to just shake your hands out vigorously. Taking a couple more breaths, you could raise the arms up, raising your energy up. Shake them on down or circle the hands, the wrist down. Adding that extra movement. Or just getting still, hands on the knees, the upper thighs, whatever works. You're going to shrug and release a few times, shoulders climb up. Exhaling, melt the shoulders back and down. Building on that, you inhale. And you exhale. Just one more. Now we're going to walk our right fingertips back. Rooting and rebounding, lift the hips, the heart, maybe the gaze, maybe not. And exhale to float it all down. Walking the left fingertips back, rooting and rebounding. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Taking both arms forward and up. Exhaling both arms back and down. Rooting and rebounding, you inhale. Lowering slowly, you exhale. Let's do all of that again. Walking the left hand back first, root and rise, inhale. Exhale, release, walking the right hand back, whichever way you didn't go, inhale. Exhale, release, taking both arms forward and up. Both hands back and down. Lifting the hips, the belly, maybe releasing the head, the neck. And exhale, let it go. This time, walk the hands forward, maybe high on fingertips. Lift your hips, melt your heart. Anahata Asana, the heart chakra opening pose. Another breath, 2 here with the forehead grounded, letting tension go. Then with your feet still rooted, lift your forehead ever so slightly so it's just floating away from the mat. Walk both hands over to the right, hips reaching a little bit more left. Melting the forehead maybe back down, maybe it's hovering. Breathing in, breathing out, left hand could move over the right or just stay side by side. Taking things further or backing off based on what feels right. Scanning your body, this tool of self-study, steadyaya. Bringing yourself to the other side, a few breaths to set it up. And a couple more to just be. Putting in that effort, finding some ease, last moments just letting go some way, somehow. Sometimes that is doing less, feeling more. Cruising on back to neutral. Take it toward all fours. As you're ready, do curl the toes, lift your hips, pressing it back, downward facing dog. A moment or two to adjust, align from the ground up. Consider joining me high on the balls of the feet. Next, exhale, just bending into both knees a lot. And with the inhale, root through the thumbs, first fingers drive your booty further up. And then finally, with the exhale, do start to send the heels gently down. Inhale high on the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend both knees, shins maybe parallel to the floor. Root and rise, drive the hips up and back. Exhaling, do send your heels down and back. One more time, inhale, stretching out the feet. Exhale, starting to get into the Achilles, the soleus, that lower calf. Rooting and rebounding, reaching into the spine, the hips. And then releasing heels to the floor. Walk hands now to feet. Sliding hands onto shins. If you've got blocks, great, use them. Inhaling with springy knees, chest out. Exhaling to melt yourself in. You can always hold the legs, use the props. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do a couple more, just like that. Filling all four sides of the ribs, the lungs completely. And in turn, emptying all sides of the ribs, the lungs completely. At least one more time like that. And then do stay for breath, 2, even 3, melting where the crown of the head releases down. The shoulder blades, the traps lift up. Fingers can graze the floor, the legs, the blocks. One more moment here. Bending knees a lot. Consider rolling it with me or lengthen to lift if it's better. Take an inhale or 2 to rise. And exhale or 2 to relax. To shrug, release. Choose to drop something that is not in your control. Let's consider the horse breath. Lick your lips, swallow. Fill yourself up. Flutter it out. One more if it's effective. Otherwise, just any sigh, Any release you need. Lick your lips, swallow, shifting into the ocean sound, both in and out through the nose. Maybe shrug, release one more time, and then take the arms up. With the exhale, bowing forward like a swan dive, take it down. Inhaling, chest forward, traps melting back. Exhale, folding from there. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, hands do come down. Big inhale, we reach the arms up. Bow forward, exhale, take it all the way down. Inhale to expand, chest out. Exhale, melt, fold it in. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, hands come down. Inhale, reaching arms. Twisting, open to the right. Back arm can circle or sweep. Twisting, open left. Back arm can circle or sweep. Diving, hands wide through the midline. Inhale, chest out. Exhale, fold it in. Root down, stand up. Exhale, palms to prayer. Adding on, similar but different. Inhale, take it up. Twisting left, fingers bright, chest broad. Inhale it up. Twisting right, or whichever way you didn't. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive down. This time inhale, chest out, thighs press back as you walk forward. Notice the difference in jamming your knees and starting to straighten out the legs a little bit more. Bending, re-extending, pedaling heels, swaying hips, ankles, the head and neck to help. Final breath or two, getting still if you haven't. Maybe weave in that horse breath. Flowing forward, plank. Little rock, sway, even a circle, one way, the other. Challenging yourself, giving yourself permission to push that edge. If you woke up really sore, you did a hard workout or something a little different yesterday, the day before, back off a bit, no big deal. Knees cruise down, shift forward, elbows do draw in and back. Lower halfway or just shy of halfway if the joints are tender. Inhale, pushing it up, plank or that modification. Same idea, down dog or our puppy dog on the Hatha Asana. Inhaling, flowing forward, plank or modified. Exhaling, navel to spine, take it about halfway. Inhale, push it up. Exhale, take it back. 2 to 3 on your own, building strength, not stress or strain. Trying to lower and lift as one long line as much as you can. It is humbling if you're used to displaying elbows and push-ups. These are different, yoga style, Chaturanga style, stick posture push-up. And at this point, you've probably done 4 or 5. We are going to all melt to the knees for a moment. A brief but maybe important balasana, child's pose. The belly, the ribs could melt between the inner thighs, go as wide as you need, big toes touch. Arms forward or back for another 2 to 3 breaths. Shifting into that ocean sound. If you haven't, the mouth is closed, the tongue is at the roof of the mouth. And while the lips are sealed, we are not hardening the face, the jaw, let that relax. Take another inhale, fill all 4 sides, exhaling, emptying all 4 sides. Inhale, roll it up or lengthen and lift, coming to kneel. Walk the hands forward several inches, many centimeters. Lion's pose. And knees wide, big toes touching like Balasana. For Simhasana, maybe scrunch and release the shoulders, pulling the heart forward. Not so much the chin forward, still aligning the head, the neck with the spine. You'll scrunch the face, stick out the tongue, and maybe look up to bring in Simhasana, Pranayama, Lion's Roars. Big breath in. 2 to 3 in total, clearing any frustration, anger, dropping the stuff not in your control. Again, inhaling. Maybe one more. You can walk right on into your down dog. You can also take anything we've done already. Maybe weave in something that you need, that you want right now. Breath 2, steadying your gaze, looking somewhere at the back of the room, the tops of the thighs. Soft face, soft jaw, and fluttering it out, even weaving in those lion's roars when helpful. Inhaling, let's float it forward, plank or its modification, long line from the tail to the crown. Shift forward, elbows graze the ribs, do take it all the way down. Reaching legs back, interlace fingers or get a strap, maybe a sock, a towel if that's what you got. Ground the feet, lift the heart, cobra variation. Shoulders melting back. The inner shoulder blades move forward and through. Take another moment in the posture, breathing in. And that moment out of the posture, exhaling once or twice, maybe windshield wipering legs once or twice each way. Potentially floating to one ear or the other, just staying on your forehead if that feels best. Back to neutral, other thumb on top if that applies. Hands roughly shoulder width if you need that prop, rooting and rebounding, climbing in, breath 2 to get there. Looping the shoulder heads back, heart forward. Talked about pressing those inner shoulder blades in. Maybe grounding the pubic bone, the feet a little more to fly your way into that bigger cobra. And then come on down. Moving through anything you need, anything you want for a breath to here, a little siesta moment. Back to neutral. Hands outside the mid-ribs, one time pushing it up from the belly, see if you can find your way there. Plank or modified plank. Exhale, do take it back, downward facing dog. Consider coming to the knees, circling your wrists one time, one way. Then the other. Continuing with that, or weaving fingers together, circling the hands, the wrists, once, twice, one way, the other. And even taking that loop-de-loop, nicknamed the spaghetti and meatballs, zucchini noodles and plant meatballs, whatever your thing is. From there, press the hands forward and up. Bend and extend a few times with me, taking the chest, the upper back, into a little bit more of a challenge. Inhaling, hands toward the head, exhaling, reaching to the sky. At least one more. Split the arms, low T. Brighten the fingers. And then flip it, forearms up, fingers down. Last inhale or 2 here. Jazz hands, if you will. Exhale, release. A little shimmy and sway. Climbing in, plank pose from the ground up, walking your way in, consciously building that shape. Shift forward, elbows back, lowering halfway or all the way, chaturanga stick. Rooting and rebounding, cobra or thighs lift, upward facing, maybe weave in a breath or 2. And exhaling, you can use your knees or roll over the feet, downward facing. Taking that breath, 2 to get there. Another 2, 3, 4 to just be. Smoothing it out, maybe evening it out. This idea behind Samavriti. Taking in as much as we let out. Finding that balance so we're not depleted in any way. Coming forward, plank pose. Navel to spine, take it halfway or all the way. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog on the inhale or 2. Child's pose, puppy dog or down dog for a breath, 2. If you want to climb back on into that vinyasa once or twice on your own, do. If it's time to rest, I'll inspire you to take a little sip of water for some self-care if you need that. There are schools of yoga that say no water throughout. This is not that practice. Being good to ourselves. Maybe it's a small sip, right, so you don't cramp. There is science to that. But feeling free to weave in moments of rest, sips of water, pause the video, go to the bathroom, do what you gotta do, taking care of you, practicing Svadhyaya and self-study. So really our own best teacher, our own biggest fan. Climbing our way back, down dog if you haven't. Look to hands, end of an exhale, step or hop. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Rooting and rising, come up. Joining palms, hands do come down. Shrug, release. Take a horse breath or 2 if that's effective. Lion's roar if you want to bring that back. Doesn't have to be done in lion's pose per se. And take the arms all the way up to the sky. Starting to float the heels up, potentially releve. Some days we're wobbly. Can you embrace the challenge? Other days you might nail it right away. Tailbone lengthen, sternum lifts. Maybe you start to look up, seal palms. Another inhale or 2, any mudra or seal at the top. And if it's your choice, eventually heels come down, releasing them to the bottom. Inhale first, exhale, do fold from there. Inhale, chest out. Stepping, jumping, yogi's choice. Find your way through chaturanga or not. Could also take plank to an up dog as I'm demoing. Up dog to a down dog or one of those alternatives. Even something like dolphin to get off the wrists. Stretching the shoulders but not putting all that pressure where it doesn't need to go. And after a few breaths on your own, high onto the balls of the feet, looking toward hands. Stepping maybe with the other foot leading, hopping, jumping, catching some air if you can get there safely. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, we fold. Come on up with the inhale. Palms come down with the exhale. Let's take that releve one more time, strengthening from the ground up. Arms reaching up, heels joining the party. Tailbone lengthen, sternum lifts, maybe changing the mudra, the seal, the gaze, maybe not. Still reaching up, and then eventually, heels come down. Might be your choice, might not. Inhale, if you're still stretching, great, no big deal either way. Exhale, diving, hands frame the feet. Inhale, chest up. Other foot could lead, both legs could jump, plank toward chaturanga, or plank toward an up dog. And from that cobra or up dog, back to your down dog or an alternative. A moment to get there, a moment to just be. Hips press back. Do look forward, step or float. Inhale, chest out. Exhale, melt in. Come on up with the inhale. Hands come down as you exhale. Standing on the right foot, pick the left knee up for a twist. We're going to simply take our hands around to the knee or shin. If you need to be near a wall, have that side to the side of you like a ballet bar. And then from here, bend, re-extend your right knee, hugging your left hip back, maybe your right hip a little forward. Pull the left hip back. Draw the tailbone down, sternum up. And you can reach, you can even look to the left. You don't have to. You could send that heel forward, trying not to lean back as you do. I'm a little close to the wall, so I'm keeping my knee unlocked, which is also nice on the hamstring if it is tight. After a few breaths, challenging yourself in that twist, you'll ease to neutral. Inhale and exhale to release. Shake it out, sway it out. Scooch it back a bit for side 2. Maybe you need to do that as well. Finding something that is not moving to look toward. It's helpful to have 2 spots, both at the front and to the side. Reaching to the knee, the shin, whatever works right now. Maybe bend, re-extend the left knee, the standing leg. Drawing the right hip back, the left hip a little forward. Twisting, revolving at some point. Maybe looking right as you reach. Maybe sending the heel forward, wrapping the hand around. A bent or extended leg for another breath, 2 here. Unwinding, can you catch your balance in neutral? You can reach it up or not, inhale. Everything comes down, exhale, rock and sway. Being as dramatic as you'd like for a moment, let out a big sigh or 2. Shrugging and releasing if that's effective, rocking and swaying to find that balance. Tadasana, mountain pose, building that sense of evenness through the right, the left, the front, the back. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, the chair. Just a simple hold for a breath or 2, heels heavy, toes a little light, looking forward or up. Brightening spots that tend to get rigid and tense, let that go. 1 more inhale. Exhale, do fold from there. Inhale, chest forward, option to step. I will demo the jump, chaturanga. Maybe building your back bend on the next inhale or 2. And then down dog, that forward bend on the exhale or 2. Lift your right leg now to the sky. Looking to the right, any circles of the foot, the ankle, kicks of the knee. Getting bigger with it, any sort of figure 8 or full circle kind of feeling. I will demo flipping the dog, come to the ball of the right foot, outer edge of the left. Sole of the left can also stamp as you root and rise. Lift the hips, the heart, maybe drop the head. Taking it through a side plank variation. You could join me. And then back to neutral, hips high, heels low for a breath or 2. Left legs turn when you're ready for it. Sweep it up. Rolling it out. Take some time to get into the foot, the ankle, the knee, the hip. Big figure 8s, full circles, flipping that dog, all options. Not mandatory, even if you did do it on side 1, maybe you reassessed. Grounding down to reach up, maybe releasing back. Can you breathe through whatever you're exploring, including that side plank moment? All the way back to center. And then from here, walk your hands to your toes. Do consider rolling it or lengthening to lift, rising on in the next inhale or 2. And take a big exhale or 2 right at the top. Let's step out wide. Walking your feet into a setup where the wrists are essentially as wide as the ankles when you take the T. You can always bring hands down, turning your right leg out, left toes in. I'm attempting to mirror. Warrior 2, the hip opening warrior. Moving out and in a few times on our way to side angle. Deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And staying put, take another moment in. And breathing out, shift that front hip to the back. Forearm could come to the thigh, top arm to the sky. Sweeping it up and over, and maybe circling it out once or twice each way. We're bending toward 90, but not forcing things. That hand could always end up on the earth, a block, or just let it stay as it is. Dropping anything that's sitting in the face, the shoulders, even if that means looking down. Maybe fire up the back foot, the inner back thigh. At least one more moment here, a breath 2, lengthening from the tail to the crown, from the foot to the fingers. Now come through warrior two. One from here, straighten the legs. Turn the feet to neutral. Take that moment to stabilize. Bring back the fullness of the breath if it got shallow. And then rolling the left leg out, right toes in. Easing our way toward Vira 2, in many ways the most approachable of the warriors, the hip opening variety. Especially nice if you are stiff. Had a lot of storms, rain out in California, so if you're dealing with that, we often feel it in certain areas of the body. And I know if our weather is rough, it's especially rough in certain parts of the country and the world. And coming back into that warrior two, breathing in, breathing out, we'll start to shift the hip. Side angle, Parasvakonasana. Taking that time to assess. It could feel very different, like a different body. What do you need, including a circle or two? A little more energy in the back foot, the inner thigh lifting toward the sky, grounding down to open up. Long line, really from the tail to the crown, the foot to the fingertips. Doesn't mean you have to look up, but you could. And you're almost there. Last breath, two, just being in it. Only taking it further if that feels available. Not pushing past your edge. Come through a warrior two when you're ready. Breathing in, breathing out, start to straighten the legs. Taking feet toward neutral, do heel toe them in ever so slightly. Parallel your feet, roll the inner thighs back, chest moves forward, inhaling. Exhale, do melt from there. Soft knees, high on fingertips, take an inhale. Exhale, both hands to that outer right foot, ankle or calf, shifting hips a little left. Drop the head, maybe twist a little more. Lingering, releasing tension where it needs to go, creating range of motion in the back body. Encourage something up and out, dropping it toward the floor. In total, maybe 5-6 breaths or so before you switch it. Hands to your left or whichever way you didn't, reaching to the foot, ankle or calf. Hips move a little right as you twist and fold left. Easing a little further over time without force. Springy knees, active quads, helping to engage the front body to stretch the back body. From that subtle twist, return to neutral, lengthen out. And for a few breaths, to fold it in. High on fingertips, drop the head, lift your traps. Elbows hugging the midline, toes bright. And then you can roll or lengthen with me, easing up over the next inhale or two. Feet coming in just a little bit closer, a yard, maybe a meter at most. Heels turning toward each other, toes away from each other in that 45, 55 degree rotation that comes from the hip. Take that time to melt your way down toward the forearms like you may have done in side angle. Now getting a little more into that inner thigh, hip, groin, rocking, swaying. I'm joining thumbs, first fingers to calm, to soothe. Releasing bigger emotions, which may or may not resonate, but just noting it is a common experience, interesting research behind it. The hips, the quads associated with that stuff. And with that in mind, you'll climb on up. Can cross the left wrist, left hand over right. When you sit down, there's a subtle hinging at the hips, heart comes slightly forward as the booty rocks back, and you're coming into goddess pose or temple pose. And you can just breathe in, breathe out, or you can weave in a bigger exhale, releasing those potentially bigger emotions, feelings, whatever needs to be released. Happily demoing. Inhale. Inhale. Let's do 5 more. 4. 3. 2. 1. Stand it up for a moment. Like you did the first time, ease your way back down, forearms toward the thighs. Noting this could be your next 5, 6, 7 breaths, or float it back up with the heart. Hips back, chest just a little bit forward. Maybe pop the right heel for a breath, even 2. Switching it when you're ready, pop that left heel for a breath, even 2. Based on how your knees are doing, maybe you lift both heels for a breath or 2. From there, potentially standing it up, either way, root and rise. Exhaling, rocking the hips, releasing the arms, let it go. Little heel toe dance, feet coming back in. Shakes, shimmies. Talked about the sip of water. And then finding mountain pose. Continuing on from the top of the mat, whatever that is right now. Going to switch directions if that's helping shift perspective. Maybe one hand at your belly, one at your heart, breathing in, breathing out. Letting that bring you back to the here, the now, if things got busy. If you're working with an intention, wonderful, letting that get clearer. Simplifying when in doubt to a word, a short phrase. I am inhaling, I am exhaling, as one potential offering. Changing which hands where, the placement entirely, find a mudra that is serving you. Not overthinking it, but feeling your way through your practice. Maybe lick your lips, swallow. Horse breath, lion's roar, one of each. Take the arms up. Swan diving, take it all the way down. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders melt back. Stepping or jumping or opting out of the flow, coming together in a downward facing dog. Maybe high on the tippy toes like we did early on. And then just reaching into one heel. High on tippy toes and then just reaching into the other heel. High on tippy toes and then maybe reaching into both heels. Hips press back, look forward, step or hop. Inhale, chest out. Exhale, fold it in. Coming to chair, bend the knees, sit low, reach high. Twisting with me if you can. Final bit of standing, twisting stuff. Hands at the heart, right upper arm to the outer leg. Left hand pushes to the right. Right hip draws back, evening out the knees, the hips. Maybe arms move to fly away, maybe not. Could also do fist in the palm, baseball in the glove. Last moments, maybe looking up. Inhale first, exhale, fold. Just for that breath or 2. Sometimes we pass through chair right away. Sometimes we even a little fold. Yay. Back to that chair when you're ready for it. Second side, hands to the heart, left upper arm to the outer leg, or whichever way you didn't go. Pull the knees, the hips back so they're working evenly. Take the heart, the crown forward, maybe take the gaze up. I talked about the fist in the palm, the flyaway option. Feeling your way through it. Last breath or 2 in Parivrtta Utkatasana. Not fun, but effective. Exhale, finally, Uttanasana. Drop the head, lift the traps, maybe shake it out, yes, shake it out, no. A last chair for our practice together. Bend the knees, sit low, reach high. Root down, stand up. Mountain. Observing. Cleansing. Softening where we can. Inhale, both arms up. Dive forward, you take it down. Inhale, chest out. Step it back to a plank, final plank of this practice. As slow as you can go, shift forward, elbows draw back, and we take it all the way down. Sending the legs back, interlace fingers, now lifting not only the chest, but the legs. Shalabhasana, flying into locust. Taking a breath, 2 to get there. Another breath, 2, 3 to be in it. Going for length much more than height. Inner thighs toward the sky. Big toes do not have to touch, however. Take it down. Maybe other thumb on top right away. Or perhaps you want to bend your knees, get into bow if you're feeling warm and open for that. I'm sticking with locust, rooting and rebounding. Building strength as well as space across the front body. Really increasing the challenge in the back body. Inner shoulder blades move forward and through. Tailbone lengthens, sternum lifts. Big inhale. And then you did it. Chill out. Short, sweet siesta. Any windshield wiper legs. And a good side, 2, 3. Before you come on up. Pushing to the knees. Let's cruise on into child's pose. I'm finally warm enough to shed a layer. Maybe you are too. A little more strength building, a little more fire in a moment. And then lots of chilling out, moving towards Shavasana. So with that said, dolphin pose, maybe plank dolphin. Coming on down to our forearms, palms flat, forearms flat, or interlacing. Hug the belly in as you breathe out, curl the toes, lift your hips. Find that stretch. Ground down to reach up, let your head hang. It's not on the earth, it's hovering. After a few breaths there, walk the feet back, take the chest forward, the plank approach. Waken up the obliques, the core, heels press back, crown reaches forward. 2, 3, 4 breaths or so. And then for today, let's apply Sphinx, bringing it in. Traps back, chest forward, tailbone lengthens, sternum lifts. Rooting down to rebound up, maybe look over one shoulder. Look over the other shoulder. Head to neutral after you have said no. Maybe say a little yes, chin down. And then potentially chin forward and up. Splay the elbows, take a sigh or two. Push it up. Maybe just repeating that, adding a leg lift on each side through the dolphin stretch, the dolphin plank, and or considering getting into a headstand. And bring your mat snug to the wall so that you are just within a few centimeters or so. You could also try it in the middle of the room if you've been working toward tripod. Hands come to the ground. The very top of my head, if you want to try it, thumbs to the ear, middle fingers touch. That flat part moves to the earth. Roughly 6, 7, 8 inches, 15, 20 plus centimeters away from the hands. And then I start to pick the feet up. Traps lift, elbows hug in, core engages as I reach the knees to the midline and maybe the heels to the sky. Taking a few breaths here. Big toes can touch. You could also weave in some splitting, some stagging. Not rushing through it, recommending 5, 10, 15 breaths. Really as a minimum hold. And you bring it through that tripod idea. And without popping the head up, do explore child's pose or puppy dog. Ideally letting your circulation flow a little longer here. Not reversing some of the positive effects by popping up and getting dizzy. Could apply a last down dog, even a flow, another leg lift, etc. Last minute, making it your own. Take the last few breaths, finishing that up, whether it's resting, continuing to invert and transition. Noticing if the inhale or exhale got a little choppy, looking for samavriti, that balanced approach to the breath. Taking in as much as we let out. Effort meets ease, strength meets flexibility. Challenging in day-to-day life, but these moments where we slow down the busyness to notice. Where can I bring a little more attention? Where can I back off? And take it to your back if you have your block, great. Getting to that supported bridge, supported shoulder stand on the block, or something like legs up the wall instead. A little more inverting, kind of balancing out the challenge of the headstand with the gentler approach to shoulder stand. 5, 10, maybe 15 breaths, including any sort of split, any sort of plow or traditional upside down shape. Head, neck are even. There's a sense of the right, left, front, and back still being balanced and breathed into as much as possible. Honoring those natural curves that exist without exploiting them. Giving yourself time, space to receive the benefits of being upside down. The head even a little bit below the heart, and the legs, of course, above the heart. And continuing toward knees at the belly, taking a couple of circles. Just gently rolling around the tailbone one way or the other. Did a lot for the side body, lots of twisting to get the inner organs moving. Letting yourself ease into a back bend, and then maybe a final twist of your choice, maybe following my lead. Continuing to wring out anything that needs to go. To exhale the things that are not serving you. To really put down the stuff that is never in our control anyway. Once you climb off that block or out of that inversion, knees to chest. Pumping the legs once or twice. I'm going to take the bind, a slightly deeper twist. Right thigh over left. Little scooch right. Reaching right, take the knees left. Melt the right shoulder, maybe look right. And feel this idea of unwinding those spots that still need to be unwound. Sometimes it's not as simple as just dropping something that is not serving us. It takes time, practice. Sometimes we think we've let it go and then there it is creeping in. Can you use your intention? The consistency of the breath to help. Noting balance really is in flux. It's not just you. Coming to center, unbind. Unwinding and then binding the other way, left thigh over right. Little scooch left, pick up the knees, let them fall to the right as you reach left. If it does feel like a different body, apply the props to things that make sense. Not going as far as fast or a little further, faster, depending. Choosing to release where we can. Choosing compassion when it is not as easy as that. And then eventually back to neutral. Let's open out into a reclined bound angle butterfly. If you've got 2 blocks, maybe taking them under the legs or under the chest, the head. If you've got more than 2, maybe you're applying pillows, bolsters, and doing all the above. Consider one hand at the belly, one at the heart, taking it for a breath count of about 3 or 4 as you inhale. Holding it in up to a 3 or 4 if you're ready for that. And exhaling down from that 3, 4, even 5 from there. Inhaling, fill it up, gently hold it in. Exhaling, empty it out, holding it out. Never forcing it, but maybe extending it. You could switch which hands where and take a few more on your own. Strengthening our lung capacity, our respiratory response, our immune system. Maybe a more traditional Shavasana or something else calling you, including staying just as you are a little bit longer. Spreading out, maybe melting a little bit more. And for at least a minute being here, receiving the effects of the practice. If you are a little tender, using a pillow under the head. If the back or hips are a bit tender after our twists and side stretches, something under the knees may be effective. Or even that placement of the hands on the body instead of palms up, shoulders down. If you've got a weighted blanket, pillows for on top of you, perhaps using that. And then finding the effects of gravity in a way that serves your well-being. Giving into it, if you will. Absorbing on a cellular level everything you've done already. You're ready, you're at the palms, stretch and yawn. Taking it slow, staying put if that's what you need, your body's craving, maybe your mind is craving. And perhaps you want to roll to the side and up to sit, closing with the universal mantra of healing, the Om. You can always sit on that throne. Maybe cross, recross, lick your lips, swallow, reach it up. Sealing in everything you've done, join the palms, integrating all sides. Let's bring it together, hands at the heart. And as mentioned, chanting one time here. Big breath in. Lifting the heart, keeping it open. Maybe bowing the head. Honoring yourself, each other, and this practice. Namaste.